The playoffs are here, so is the first 49ers practice ahead of this wildcard game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And most notably, no Trent Williams, no Ricky Pearsall at practice for the 49ers today. Trent dealing with the hamstring injury. 49ers do hope to get him back on Sunday. The Ricky Pearsall situation is definitely weirder because he practiced last week, then he didn't play. I asked Kyle Shanahan today if he aggravated the PCL during practice, but Shanahan said that he actually aggravated the PCL injury during the game against the Chicago Bears.
Where exactly is Ricky at? Did that aggravation happen during one of the practices last week?
No, it happened in the game before that. We didn't do anything last week in practice, but it happened in the game versus Chicago. But he's the same boat as Trent.
Yet he is not practicing this week, even though he practiced last week. So that is something to keep an eye on because Pearsall and a wide receiving presence in general is so important for the 49ers against a good Eagles defense. They did open the practice window for Jacob Cowing, the second-year wideout from Arizona today, but Kyle Shanahan said that it's unrealistic to expect Cowing to be able to play after not having practiced all year. I briefly spoke with Jake in the locker room. He's very excited, but it sounds like the 49ers need to win in order for him to have a shot to get back out on the field. Also no practice today for D. Winters and Keon White. Winters dealing with an ankle injury. The 49ers did sign Kaiser White. He was in the locker room today. I was able to ask White about what he's been doing ever since he left Tennessee. He mutually agreed to part ways with the Titans, looking for a playoff opportunity. Finally got one, and Kaiser says that he's been working out over the course of the past month, staying in shape, waiting for his opportunity. And his goal is to play this weekend. And when a reporter asked him about the dust-up that he had with Kyle Shanahan back when Kaiser with the Chargers, he tackled Raheem Mostert to the ground during a joint practice down in Costa Mesa in 2021, and Kyle Shanahan got in his face, and there was a big yelling match on the field. When a reporter brought that up, Kaiser White responded in joking fashion.
You remember the interaction you had with Kyle Shanahan at the Trent?
Yeah, why you want to keep bringing that up? I'm trying to play this week. I remember it, though. Yeah, I do.
So that was a funny moment. The 49ers are slated to have two new linebackers if Kaiser and Eric Kendricks both start. And the plan is for Eric to start for San Francisco at the Mike position. And I think that if you look at the problems they had defensively against the Seahawks, and not only that, going back to the Bears game, and you could stretch this back even further, they've had defensive issues throughout the course of this whole season, but especially against Seattle, after they suffered those injuries to Tatum Bethune, who's now done for the season, and to D. Winters. Boy, the 49ers were struggling at linebacker, struggling to read the right gaps to attack in the run game. I go back to the fact that ever since they've lost their edge setter and Michael Williams along the defensive line, they've been the number 26 run defense in football ever since week 10. They've needed better linebacker play. I think they've needed a more veteran presence at linebacker. And maybe they'll finally get it this week against Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. Eric Kendricks has been around since Kyle Shanahan entered the league. I mean, he was an all-pro as the head coach in 2017. Eric Kendricks was an all-pro in 2019 for the Minnesota Vikings, and Kaiser White's also a veteran. Both of these guys probably past their physical primes, but both of these guys should be able to read what's happening in front of them at a higher level than what the 49ers have seen from their linebackers, their younger linebackers over the course of this season. So now the question is, will Kaiser White be able to get up to speed quickly enough to start at the weak side linebacker position against Philadelphia, a team that has not been great offensively this year? They've lost Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator from the Super Bowl run. He's now the coach of the New Orleans Saints. They rank number 17 in offensive efficiency. It has not been a smooth operation for Philadelphia. It obviously has not been a smooth operation, though, for the 49ers defense as well. Why don't we take a look at the offensive side of the ball for the 49ers? Today, Brock Purdy and Mac Jones won the Gary Niver Award. So this is the award presented annually by the San Francisco chapter of the Pro Football Writers of America to a 49ers player for his cooperation and professional style in helping pro football writers do their jobs. And this year, the voting ended up in a first-place tie between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. So I think that might just solidify their spot as the best quarterback room in the league.
Brock, Mac. So congratulations and thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Thank you guys for the coverage. Yeah, appreciate it. How y'all do it. So appreciate it. This is Mac's award, really. Good job. Appreciate you. Thank you guys. It's fun. Yeah.
It was a legitimate tie. Like we all vote and we kind of rank them, and it came up as a tie.
Nice.
So
it was fun, man.
we thought it was very appropriate.
Yeah. Appreciate that. We appreciate it.
We appreciate how you guys handled it.
Yeah, you guys are actually fun, so.
Actually,
Yeah, so appreciate it.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
great.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Now, I don't think that best QB room in the league had to be solidified for Purdy and Jones, but, you know, it helps. These two guys, they already finished top 10, both of them in QBR. Purdy at number 2 behind only Drake May, and Mac Jones at number 9 ahead of Lamar Jackson. That's how good the 49ers quarterback room was this year. And, you know, regardless of what happens in Philadelphia, this season has been an unquestioned success for the 49ers. Roster rehaul year. They went 12-5 in the regular season. They were emulating the Rams model that was put into place back in 2023. The Rams went 10-7 in 2023 and lost their wild card game, and it was a smashing success. Everybody sees where the Rams are now as Super Bowl contenders, one of the Super Bowl favorites this year. So the 49ers, they've got a shot this year. They've got a shot to bring it back to Levi Stadium, where a lot of Super Bowl construction and Super Bowl preparation has already started. Obviously, the 49ers don't have a great shot. They would have needed to beat the Seattle Seahawks to be the 1 seed with the home field advantage, but they still have a chance. Either way, even if they go out and lose in Philadelphia, 12-5 season, playoff experience for the young guys like an Upton Stout. They've already played 2 games they treated as must-wins that were like playoff games against playoff opponents, against the Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. It's been all good on that front for the 49ers. And a huge reason why they are able to attain this success is the quarterback room of Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. You had 2 guys at the most important position perform at top 10 levels for San Francisco this year, which is extremely uncommon, but it was very necessary for a 49ers team that has just been decimated by those defensive injuries. They've also needed good special teams play, and that might be a path to victory against the Philadelphia Eagles, who, by the way, ranked number 26 in special teams play. The 49ers at the very top of the league. Eric Kendricks, by the way, promoted to the 49ers 53-man roster. That was expected. His 3 practice squad elevations used up. When the 49ers worked out Kaiser White yesterday here at the facility, they also worked out another linebacker who had been born in Berkeley, Milo Eifler. And they liked both of the workouts. They signed White to the practice squad, but Eifler, they signed to a reserve futures contract. That means that he's going to be on the team officially at the start of the new league year in March. He's not on the roster right now, and he won't be in the locker room right now, but they have a chance to look at another linebacker once the offseason gets rolling. So both guys, Kaiser White and Eifler, signed contracts coming out of that workout. And Tatum Bethune is now officially on injured reserve for the 49ers. Other news, this is the Bryce Huff revenge game. Huff, 49ers defensive end, they traded with the Philadelphia Eagles for him over the course of this offseason. And you may remember that it was a conditional compensation trade, meaning that if Huff notched 8 sacks in the regular season, the 49ers would owe Philadelphia a 4th-round pick in this upcoming draft. But he finished with only 4 sacks, and he notched all 4 of those over the first 7 games of this year. He's been dry of sacks ever since the week 8, week 9 mark. I think that the loss of Mykel Williams had a lot to do with that. But because Bryce Huff finished with only 4 sacks, the 49ers will only send a 5th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. But I did have a chance to catch up with Bryce in that 49ers locker room. He's downplaying this rematch with Philadelphia. It wasn't a good fit for him there in the Vic Fangio defense. He was a pass rusher who really likes putting his hand in the dirt and just getting after it from the wide 9 alignment. That's what he does with Chris Kasarik, Robert Saleh, and the 49ers. And I think that's a big reason why he saw more success over the course, at least of the first half of this season. Now, he has rushed better over the course of the past 2 games. He helped close out the Chicago Bears game, and I thought that the 49ers defensive line actually really upped the pressure, and that's a spot of optimism for San Francisco entering Philadelphia. The Eagles have not been as good in protection as they usually are, and Lane Johnson, it sounds like he's going to come back from his Lisfranc sprain at right tackle for the Eagles, but I'm not so sure that he's going to be at 100%. They've been pushing that return back ever since Week 15, and a Lisfranc situation. That's what Jimmy Garoppolo had, the Lisfranc fracture, when he got hurt against the Dolphins back in 2022, and that opened the door for Brock Purdy. Those could be tricky. Those can take a while to heal, whether they're fractures or they're sprains. And if Lane Johnson is not 100%, the 49ers defensive line, the defensive ends especially, generated a lot of pressure against the Seattle Seahawks, who haven't been terrible up front. 49ers might have some opportunities to constrict the pocket around Jalen Hurts, which is obviously very, very important for a quarterback like that, who has not had the best year, has gone dry of completions for an entire half at a certain point. So the 49ers will be looking to generate pressure with Huff and company, but they only do have to send that 5th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. Make sure that you listen in for more from Bryce Huff at the end of this video. Speaking of Vic Fangio, the Eagles defensive coordinator, that's somebody who Kyle Shanahan tried to hire as the 49ers defensive coordinator. Remember, Jim Harbaugh hired him back in 2011, brought him over from Stanford, where Fangio helped turn around a defense in the Bay Area. So Vic Fangio very nearly became a 2-time 49ers defensive coordinator, but now he is with Philly, and Kyle Shanahan talked about that entire process at his press conference.
I mean, Vic schematically, he's always been the best to me, as good as anyone there is. Has a very sound scheme that he doesn't need to change up very much. It just naturally changes with how he does his coverages, how he does his fronts, the personnel groupings he does. He's very good at getting a beat on what you're trying to do and making you adjust.
How close did you get to really hiring him to be your defensive coordinator a few years ago?
You'd have to ask him. I mean, I've tried all the times that it's been an opportunity. He's always been with someone else when that's happened. I tried real hard in 17 when we first came here, and I tried like 2 other times on separate occasions. So Vic's a guy that I've always respected, gone against a number of times before I became a head coach. So that's why I respected him so much, and through the process, been able to become friends with him.
Well, above all else, we have to circle this back to Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall. Didn't see Ricky in the locker room, saw Trent in there briefly. The vibe I get is that Trent Williams is going to work his way and be back for this game. It might be a little quick for a hamstring injury, but I don't think that he wants to go down, especially at this age, without a fight. And if the 49ers can find a way to stretch this season out, they can get it to Fred Warner, who walked into the locker room today while Eric Kendricks was doing his media scrum. And Fred, he's walking without a limp. He's looking good. His legs look strong. I think that the divisional round might be a possibility for a Fred Warner return. Fred huddled around the media scrum with Eric Kendricks in it and then held up his hand like a fake microphone, pretending to ask Eric Kendricks a question. And we haven't seen all too much of Fred in the locker room over the course of this year, especially since the Week 6 injury. I did mention a few days ago that he was back in there last week. The fact that he is in the locker room and not doing rehab all day means that potential return is drawing closer and closer, but the 49ers just have to build a bridge to it. And this Philadelphia defense is really good. They may have dropped off offensively. The special teams may be sketchy this year for Philly, but they're still playing high-level defense. In fact, their regular season pressure rate in 2025 is even higher than it was in 2024, 40.2%, which I think means you need Trent out there if you're the 49ers. I think that you could really use the separation that Ricky Pearsall or someone at wide receiver could bring you. And I think Pearsall and Ayuk were the 2 players the 49ers were counting on to deliver that. But since it's not there, it's tough to see the math working again for the 49ers without a greasy break or 2 in this football game. And who knows, maybe the new linebackers that the 49ers plug in there, Eric Kendricks and Kaiser White, both guys who have created some takeaways as recently as last year. They combined for about 270 tackles and a few forced fumbles last year. Maybe those are the guys who can do it for San Francisco, but there is a reason why the 49ers are underdogs in this game. And one last thing, since this ties back into 49ers history against the Eagles, the last time they were there for a playoff game Brock Purdy got hurt very early, and then Josh Johnson, the backup, suffered a concussion, so he too was knocked out. The 49ers only had 2 quarterbacks on the active roster, so they ran out of QBs, lost the NFC Championship game. It's led some to wonder, will Kyle Shanahan have 3 quarterbacks dressed active for this game? Will he use the emergency 3rd quarterback rule? You could do that by elevating Adrian Martinez, or actually promoting him full-time from the practice squad and making him the 3rd quarterback. The rule was put into place because of that 49ers-Eagles game in the 2022 season, but Shanahan does not plan to do that. He said, if I did, that would be the same consideration every week. I don't chalk it up to that only happens in Philly. That would take us down somewhere else on the roster. With that rule, you don't get an extra player. I don't know anyone who could ever choose that, really, unless you're playing with someone who's really injured and you don't think they'll make it through the game. But to play with one less player throughout the game because of something that for me has happened once in 23 years and other people I've worked with once in 45 years just wouldn't be the best odds. In short, Kyle Shanahan doesn't believe that that particular bolt of lightning will strike twice. It might be famous last words, but I know that since there's history here with the 49ers and the Eagles and a Brock Purdy injury and multiple quarterback injuries, and since those memories were so bad, it was something worth asking Kyle Shanahan. All right, off to the 49ers locker room.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, whatever they need me to do. I feel like I can play, but, if they don't feel like that, then that's cool too. But, I'm going to go out there and practice today, try to pick up on everything, and, hopefully I can help the team in whatever capacity I can.
I know sometimes it's overblown because film exists, but are you able to provide any sort of insight into Philadelphia for them?
And Philly? I mean, I ain't been there since 2022, but, I just been watching from afar, Got a lot of, my guys over there who I like to watch. But from afar, I mean, they got a great offense. I don't feel like they've been playing up the bar as of late, but, they got, top running back. I feel like Jalen Hurts is the top quarterback. I think A.J. Brown is really 2 top 5 receivers. You know what I mean? Dallas got it playing well, good old line. So I feel like it'll be a good battle.
And it was a quick turnaround for you. Just
was a Brock going into that game, and maybe
Brock Purdy?
Yeah, and how it's changed since then.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like we're putting them in like that Mahomes category in terms of like just keeping plays alive. You know what I mean? I know his draft status and everything like that can get overlooked, like 7th rounder, but he a heck of a player. I've got to play against him more, just being in the same division, playing for the Cardinals. He's a great player, man. I feel like he can do it all.
And that was a quick turnaround. Anybody in here whose brain you're picking to kind of get a little bit more familiar with Robert's system?
I've just been picking the brain of KJ Wright. I came in early, met with him. You know what I mean? I had a little relationship with him before I got here, so trying to pick his brain. And obviously Kendrick's in the room. He a vet, so I'm gonna definitely get next to him and see what I can pick up.
It's been about a month since you were in Tennessee's building. What have you done to keep your body ready?
I've just been working out, man. Working out, running, trying to stay sharp as possible, and just staying ready.
Do you remember the interaction you had with Kyle Shanahan at Trent?
Yeah, why you want to keep breaking that up? I'm trying to play this week. I remember it though. Yeah, I do.
Did you learn anything about him as a coach in that moment?
It didn't have to be in that moment. I just know he's a great coach. Had a lot of success in this league. A lot of guys are changed up this year on the team, and still a playoff team. So he a hell of a coach. Man.
Something you can have a laugh about now, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. It get a little personal when it comes to my brother. So that's all it was. It's all love, though, man.
Thank you, guys.
I think we're well coached first and foremost. I think that they do a great job coaching us and getting me up to speed when I came in here early. So I have no doubt that they're going to get him up to speed as well as all the other backers. I feel like there's a standard that's upheld in this room. This organization's always had good linebackers as far as I'm concerned. So I don't plan on it being any different.
Can you describe the challenges of facing Saquon and his second efforts? And
yeah, he's just he's just an instinctual runner. You know what I mean? As soon as you kind of count him out, or you think he's down, he's kind of making a pivot move, spin move. He stays real low to the ground. He has a lot of power. So we know kind of runner he is, and it's up to us to swarm.
What's your confidence level just being in control, being the quarterback of the defense, having only been here really a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I feel like this is honestly where I'm very comfortable at. So I feel like I am very confident, very comfortable with this position in particular. A lot of the positions I've been in, prior to me being in the position I'm at now was a little bit more uncomfort. Was a little bit more challenge for me. So I feel like, me being able to, be verbal and, direct things and kind of, now that I understand the defense, the displacements and everything like that, I feel like I'm in a comfortable spot.
Is that pressure? Like, you haven't been here all that long to now be the quarterback.
This is the league. There's always going to be pressure on you, as a player. It's up to you to rise to the occasion. I trust my preparation. I've always have. I trust my teammates around me first and foremost. They've helped me so much to get to where I'm at now. And now it's just about going out there, knowing what I'm doing, and just letting loose and playing with my instincts.
What's defending a rushing threat like Jalen Hurts?
Shoot, you got to keep them contained, obviously. I think down and distance is super crucial in that component, making it favorable on our end, down and distance-wise. So eating your vegetables first and second down is going to be super important, but just playing a complete game. You have to play all 4 quarters with the team.
One of the stories this week is crowd noise. Now, you played with a former team that is also like a big rival for the Eagles. Just wondering if that kind of helps you to get comfortable being in this position, having to communicate to the defense, being in Philly with the fans that they have.
Yeah, as far as I've been a middle linebacker, it's always better to have, the crowd noise is always better at away games. Home games is where you have a lot of difficulty because you're trying to get their offense to jump off sides and stuff like that. So I think actually, being in Philly, obviously it's a cool place to play. Fans are really into it, but on the defense side of things, I'm just going to pride myself on communicating.
Is this what you envisioned, the scenario you envisioned when you sat here?
Honestly, I don't know what I envisioned. I kind of just took a leap of faith, and as far as the organization was concerned, I just had a gut feeling. I didn't want to jump on anything too early, anything that didn't feel kind of quite right. I wanted something to feel right for me, and throughout the course, I didn't play for a while, so nothing really felt right, and kind of got this opportunity. It felt right, and I made the move. Like I said, I completely humbled myself. Did things that I wasn't really used to doing, but it was easy because everybody was unselfish. So now that I'm it's kind of crazy how it ends up, but that's just how things in my life work out.
There's a lot of young guys in this defense.
I feel like I did have some more chips, but his presence is definitely missing in every facet of the game. I'm gonna just try to keep going out there and making plays with the guys that we have, and just getting better with the guys we have out there.
Is there any extra motivation going up against the Eagles?
Not really. My motivation is just to win with the team I'm on right now. So I'm focused on us and our game plan to execute that to the best of my ability.
How important was it for you to get an opportunity to get back to your strengths this year, given just the fit wasn't exactly there in Philly?
I feel like it was really important for me, just coming back and doing what I'm good at, rushing out of my stance and rushing with the guys in this room. And, yeah.
How do you feel physically? Kyle was saying that he's probably played more than we wanted him to play based on circumstances. We'd like, for the edge guy, you want him to maybe get fewer snaps. And are you impacted in that way physically?
I feel good physically. I have played a good bit this year, especially with the numbers fluctuating in the room, but I feel good.
Mm-hmm. Proud of that? To make it through a whole season is a big deal.
Yeah.
And after last year, you didn't get to play hardly often.
Yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Bryce, is it important for you guys to rush kind of as one to not give Hurts, an obvious rush lane?
Yeah, 100%. Jalen's a dynamic quarterback, and he can make plays with his legs, so that's definitely in the game plan.
What jumps out when you watch film of Philly, and how much does your familiarity help you out this week, if at all?
Players are different year to year, and I've definitely watched film. It's still a dynamic group, still a group of playmakers, and with a good O-line. So,
Was there anyone on the Eagles who helped you through that season? You leaned on for support there?
Just really mainly the guys in the D-line room, just seeing them when I was in the building made my days better. So really just those guys.
Were you tight with anybody over there in Philly?
Mainly the edge group, because that's just who I met with and hung out with the most.
You did go through a camp there and one-on-ones with some of their offensive linemen. Do you think that some of that familiarity can help in some of these matchups?
It could, but at the same time, everybody's different year to year. At the end of the day, they've always had a dominant O-line, so I'm going to go into the game with that respect for them. But I'm gonna just treat it like I treat every week, just doing my best every play.
How big a challenge is the Philly crowd? Were you a fan of the crowd when you were there? What impact do they have in terms of on the game?
I feel like they definitely are. They do get loud. They're going to cause a silent count for sure. But outside of that, it's on defense. It's probably be regular for us.
Bryce, how's Fangio's scheme different than a scheme here? Because you're thriving here, and it seemed like you didn't fit there. Why was that?
I think it's mainly just like dropping in coverage and like playing out of that 2-point stance. There's not as much power coming out of the ground versus when you're down and off in a 4-point stance. Just being a lighter guy for that position, I feel like it helps to have that leverage in that angle.
Is it difficult to stay engaged last year when things weren't going the way you had hoped?
I feel like once after my injury, when I came back, it was just kind of like playing time wasn't there, really wasn't getting the plays that I wanted to, so it kind of messed up my rhythm a good bit. But I feel like before that, I started having a good bit of momentum, but yeah, like I said, the injury kind of derailed that.
You guys have done a good job on third down and in the red zone. What stood out for you as far as why you guys are able to do better there than other times on the field? Third down and red zone, you guys have done a good job there.
Yeah.
What stands out and why that's been the case as opposed to maybe other situations?
I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, like I said before, like my goal is to do my best every time on the field. I guess that's just a stat for whatever reason.
I have so much respect for this football team. They've had sustained success. Kyle's done an unbelievable job there, and a ton of respect for him and then their players. There is a lot of familiar faces. There are a bunch of guys that are really good players, which is why they're still playing there. And so can't tell you how much respect I have for this football team. You can see how well coached they are. You can see, again, how talented their players are. You see how hard they play, physical, fundamentally sound. So I can't say enough about this team, and we got to do what the things that we know we need to do to be able to go in there and have success.